Hello everyone, I'm back making another video. Finally, the weather has just been horrible, just rain every single day. So haven't really been able to get much work done on the Mustang. So I got a microphone, testing that out, seeing how that goes. Maybe they'll help with more consistent volume. I want to do the gas tank today. I have no idea how much gas is in it, but I'm gonna need to get that fuel out of there since it's been in there for a while now. I'm looking at the dark skies. I'm really hoping it doesn't rain today. I'm gonna be very sad if it does. But yeah, let's try and get some work done. All right, we're gonna start with getting these bolts off the filler tank. Yeah, not much to say there, I guess. Kind of hard to do this with one hand. Also, I'm not even recording it, so. Oh. Okay. All right, this is. Yeah, I'll be back in a second. All right, so. Need to lift up the car. I should probably do the front and the back, but I think the concrete's kind of uneven here. And last time I tried lifting them up, or the whole car up, it wasn't sitting on all of the jacks, despite them being at the same height. The trunk shocks are shot, so I don't know why I keep putting the jack back in here. I'm just paranoid this is gonna fall on my head. All right, you can fall now. Okay. All right. So this one's gonna be a really hard video to record, but I'm gonna try. Let's see. Yeah, I can't even really get an angle. But what I'm going to be doing is that's probably loud. Yeah. I'm going to be lifting it by the rear diff, I guess, because it's the centermost point, and it should be strong enough to support it. So I'll get my jack under here. Move my camera out the way. Get a little closer so I can see what I'm doing. All right, we're going up. I think this is made a little bit harder by the shocks not being attached, so it's sitting a lot lower. I have to go pretty high to get my jack stands under. All right. Maybe laying down while jacking it up isn't the safest thing, but yeah. This is why I need like a GoPro or something. So instead of just hearing sounds, you can see what I'm doing. Looks like I need to go a little bit higher. All right. Okay. Now we should be able to go down onto our jack stands. Alright, now I'll go check those. They feel solid. So I would normally like to leave the jack underneath as a bit of extra reassurance, but I kind of need the space today. Now doing the tank at this angle might kind of suck, but we'll figure it out. So let's just look at what we have down here. I've got this line going somewhere. I got this line going somewhere. Yep. I think this one feels like it has some slack in it. Crawling. We got a connector. And yeah. Looking for everything I can find, but I don't see a whole lot. Again, it's going to be really hard to record. Let me do a quick look around. So I'm probably a little dirtier than you last saw me. So I guess I'll go break that down now. Ta-da! It's out. I'd love to be able to show you guys like the actual process of me doing these things, but when it comes to recording by myself and then also recording under the car, it's just really difficult for a lot of reasons. I mean, having my phone be at an angle where it can both record and not be in like the splash zone for fuel or coolant or oil or whatever fluids coming out, it's hard. On top of just a lot of the angles would probably just be like my back and me wrenching at a bolt for a good 10 minutes. At the very least, I'm gonna go break down everything here. We did get the fuel tank off, which was the goal for today, so I am very happy. What I didn't know is that the damn thing was full, so that sucked, but it's off. So we'll you know, doesn't matter that it's full anymore. It'll be empty going back on, because that fuel is ancient at this point. Now I can break down what happened underneath the car. So you can see right here, it's our fuel pump. I'll kind of explain, I guess, how I ended up taking the tank down, which was probably not the best way to go about doing it. you can see one strap stays on the car. It's held in there. You don't remove that side. There's 3 13s that are holding the straps and the whole tank up. So the other strap would go around here. Once you get those 3 13s out, that's the only thing holding the tank up. What I decided to do was loosen all the 13s, and then I took some jack stands and I set them up underneath it, and then I had a jack, which it wasn't this jack, it was actually this one. I had a jack underneath the tank right in the center, and I let it slowly lower down onto the jack stands. I didn't really disconnect anything. I don't think I'd recommend doing it this way. In some ways it was easier, but I think it's a little risky because you might damage some lines. I think I got lucky and I didn't damage anything. This line may be a little bent though, so I'll have to really inspect all of these lines because it'd suck to get this all back together and then have to do it again because I damaged one of the fuel lines. But let's see what came off. So I took this line off over here. So there it is, up there. I think it's another line that's going to the fuel filter, which in what I saw, the video recommended. Let me see if I can get the filter. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. The video recommended dropping the filter, which I'm going to take the filter out. It'll probably be a lot easier to do now that there's nothing in my way. But the video recommended taking the filter out before doing the tank, so that all of these lines are loose and you can just drop them with the tank. I did it the other way. So this line here is what connects to the line that's over here. So I didn't really have to disconnect it over here, but I did because I didn't plan on doing it this way originally. But that line connects to right here. And at first I tried to maybe twist these out, but that didn't seem like it was gonna happen. So instead I just opted to take the line off down there. And that was one of the lines that had to come off to drop the tank. The fuel pump itself, that plate is held on with 6 8mm screws or bolts, whatever you want to call them. So after those are out, you can see it has those a tab there, and it has another tab on the other side down there. You push those tabs in and you can just pull the pump right out. The part that fought me was getting this line here disconnected from there. That's connected to the fuel filter as well. I don't know if it's just my tool or if it's just the lines are on there really good, but that line fought me. Fortunately, if you do this the way that I did it, where you drop the tank without disconnecting everything, the fuel pump itself you can just pull out of the tank, and even if you can't get that line off, you can at least get the tank out of your way, which is what I had to do in order to separate that line. But yeah, after there's some lines, sorry I got distracted, a little notification popped up. Some lines connecting to this side by the fuel filler, which by the way is stupid long. You can see from here to here it goes into the fuel tank, and that by itself was holding up the fuel tank while I tried to push it out. So that was a little bit of a hassle. Then there's this other line here that was also connected on this side next to the fuel filler. So the fuel filler nozzle thing goes in there, the other hose goes there. But like I said, there's not really a whole lot holding this tank on. So I don't know if there's much else to explain actually. There's a few like connectors, you know, electrical connectors you have to disconnect. But other than that, that's pretty much all it was to it. And I say that, but I fought this for a while. Mostly because, well, one, the tank was full. Two, the way I decided to do it was maybe not the smartest. I think disconnecting the lines first might be the way to go. But if you're having trouble with that, you 100% can just drop the tank and then disconnect the lines after. That is what I did. Just put some jack stands or maybe 2 jacks and just lower it slowly so that it doesn't come crashing down, yanking on the lines and breaking anything. That being said, I don't think I ever showed the lower intake after I took that off. This is, as you can see, it's open here now. I'll have to put a picture up on the screen. It's still very dirty, but this whole cavity here was inches high. Like I could stick my whole hand down there and it was just like rodent, I don't know, rodent nest. So I had to vacuum and scoop all that out. I'm sure you can already see, but we did find our first rodent damaged wires and they chewed them up good. I was hoping when I first saw it that it was just the knock sensors, because it looks like you could just replace those. But it looks like they've basically separated the harness in half. You can see this half going out here to like your mass airflow sensor and stuff, and that half going back to your coil plugs. So gonna have to really analyze these wires and the extent of the damage. Also contemplating whether originally I wasn't going to pull the engine, but now, you know, as far as I am, you start to think like that might be the smart way to do this, to just check and see if there's more wires that are damaged. But yeah, so that's a little update for the engine bay. I think I'll be doing the valve covers and everything next week. But then, you know, like I said, I can't really put them on until I resolve this issue. I don't have much experience with electrical stuff, so I'll have to practice some soldering, I guess, or get some help from someone who knows how. But they really chewed these wires up, so I'm gonna have to cut back all this covering here, get to some good wire, and see the extent of the damage. I haven't been messing around in the engine bay too much recently, but that is where I'm at, just going at it one step at a time. Yeah, don't know what else to really talk about, so I will be figuring out what I'm going to do with this. Obviously going to have to drain it. It doesn't look, I mean, I don't know what fuel's supposed to look like. I've never really seen it in like a bucket or something, but I don't know, I thought it'd look grosser. I mean, I guess it kind of looks like pee, but I thought it'd be worse. Or maybe that is bad. I don't know. So yeah, I guess the plan now for me will just be lowering the car back down, moving all this stuff out the way, and I guess deciding what I'm going to tackle next, which means that will be it for this video. in the future, I should be able to actually record, like, you know, me doing stuff. It's just like I said, if this car was on a lift and I was standing underneath it, right, that'd be different. I could much more easily show what it is that I'm doing. But with it being on the ground and me being like within kissing distance of the bottom, I just can't record that, especially with something that I'm not too familiar with, where I'm kind of figuring things out, which, you know, that would be the fun part of doing YouTube, would be showing you guys the process of figuring things out. But at the very least, I hope I can show that you can work on your cars, you know. It's not easy, but it's rewarding, and it's you know, there's a lot of satisfaction in doing this stuff yourself and figuring things out. You're gonna mess stuff up, you're gonna break stuff. That's gonna happen. I've done it multiple times, and I'm a perfectionist. I hate messing stuff up like that, especially when, you know, it's a customer's car. It's one thing if I mess up my own car, that's whatever. The only one who has to deal with the repercussions of that is me. But I'd hate, you know, to mess up someone else's car. And, you know, I always want to do right, but that's not always going to happen. You're going to make mistakes as you learn, and that's fine. That's the only way to learn. So, I guess I just went on a random little talk there, but hopefully I can get some footage in the next videos. I think I need to go find this wheel lock. I think that's what needs to happen. That'll be a good video, because I can definitely just set my camera up, have it pointed at the wheel, and we can just do some brakes. And that'll be great. But yeah, if you watched all the way through, I appreciate it. So hopefully you continue watching.